Hello and welcome to C-Train Station. I'm C-Train. This is the station. We're having fun talking Bay Area sports right now. And we're having fun talking some San Francisco 49ers. It's the off season. That was a brutal Super Bowl. Yeah, that stinks if you're a Niners faithful like myself. Okay. But we need to talk. And Niners faithful, Niners fans, you're maybe not going to love me for this, and that's okay. Because this comes from a place of love when I say this, but we need, or the Niners need, the fan base need to be careful with Coach Kyle Shanahan. I know. This guy hates Kyle Shanahan. He's always... No. CJ doesn't hate Kyle Shanahan at all. Love the guy. But it is what it is with some of my critiques and beliefs, and I think that maybe he can only do so much to dispel those beliefs short of actually win the Super Bowl or a big game. Okay, now, here are a couple of reasons, and I think that accountability has a lot to do with what I'm talking about with Coach Kyle Shanahan, and here's what I'm talking about. Okay, the game of football, American football, is played with two teams. Each team lines up. Okay. Usually, when two teams play, especially in the NFL, the chance of winning is like 50%. Two teams, 50%. We'll leave that small margin for a tie, right? But we're just going to say 50%. Okay. George Seifert, his winning percentage with the Niners, what do you think it is? You can Google it real quick if you want. No? Okay. I'll just do it for you. George Seifert had a 76% winning percentage with the Niners. George Seifert, including that Super Bowl, that dynamic Super Bowl. We got the monkey off of Steve Young's back. Prime Time was leading that defense as well, wasn't he? Well, amongst others. Okay. Bill Walsh, the legend. This is Bill Walsh's world. We're just living in it. We're living in a Bill Walshian NFL society with his West Coast offense innovation and just with how there's this amazing talent development, scouting ability. Okay. Bill Walsh had a 61% win percentage. Actually, that's not as good as I thought it would be. But some would contend that he laid the groundwork for George Seifert and those teams. But I'll continue. Look, those are two of the best coaches. Those are the two best coaches, I believe, in Niners lore and history, right? They took us to the promised land. The Niners need to get to the promised land. Okay, where am I going here? Kyle Shanahan has a 56% winning percentage with the Niners. Kyle Shanahan has a 56% winning percentage with the San Francisco 49ers. That's not good. That's not good. That's like 6 or 7% chance over just like you flip a coin. 50-50 odds. That's not good enough. Kyle Shanahan apologists always say, they'll say, oh, we didn't have the quarterback in the first few seasons. He had a horrible roster. Everybody has a horrible roster. Everybody's always got a horrible roster. Okay. I don't want to hear it because it doesn't matter. That statistic, it just is what it is. 56%. That's not very good. 76% is freaking amazing, George Seifert. 61%, that's like the Goldilocks. That's like our sweet spot, and we're going to win some Super Bowls. 56% is not good enough. 56% is like more in like the Singletary, Nolan, Tomsula, okay? It's tough. When Kyle Shanahan, I believe, has been with the Niners for 7 seasons now. Okay, 7 seasons, and that winning percent is 56. So it's like just a little above, like 50%, like a coin flip that he's going to win. Both teams show up. That's not good enough. That is like, And honestly, okay, it's fine. But as a coach myself, like it kills me. It kills me. Like, so okay, I'm going to get into a real quick coach. I managed an indoor center in Central Oregon, a big sports center, and I helped run the flag football. I believe I ran the flag football. Okay. I could take one flag football team and beat another one. And then right after that, take that team that I just beat and beat the team that I just won with. I've done it. I've like flipped teams and beaten the other team as a coach. And honestly, this is messed up, but it's because I'm like an old man, and a lot of the other coaches were like high school coach, like literally I was like training high school kids. I love all of them, by the way, if they're listening and stuff like that. It's just way more experience for myself, like way more experience. For example, this is messed up, but in flag football, at that indoor center, like you could just run the ball like nonstop, and there were no fumbles in the league, in the flag football league, no fumbles, so that you couldn't turn the ball over. Whereas other teams would pass the ball, inherently you have an interception chance. And you couldn't fumble in that league, but you could get interceptions. Messed up to say, but yeah, if you ran the ball the whole time, you're going to win because you're not going to turn the ball over. Like, it's pretty simple. I mean, it's more nuanced than that, but like, you know what I'm saying. Okay, stop it. C-Train's done with like me building myself up and my coaching ability. The thing is that like, that 56%, it just kills me. You should be able to, like, Kyle Shanahan, if you asked him for his record, he should say, I win like 85% of the time, because you should be that delusional, right? Because you should think, because every coach should think, they're like, oh yeah, I'm at least going to win like 70% of the time, or 75, like 3 out of 4. But he's not like that. He's like a coin flip. That's not good enough. It does disservice to the coaches that paved the way for him. Hey, including his father. Okay. Hey, let's keep on going. Kyle Shanahan, the offensive genius, has spent so much Niners capital on offensive players that I'm not sure it's sort of defeating the purpose of him being able to scheme yardage. So here's what I'm saying. If Kyle Shanahan is an offensive genius, which I think that he is, I thought that he should more be able to turn players like Elijah Mitchell into almost premier, not premier backs, but backs that got premier yardage. So like, turn it, like, just have it be like, okay, if it's not Mostert, it's going to be Mitchell or something like that. It's okay because I love Christian McCaffrey. However, Kyle Shanahan should be able to manufacture that type of yardage from 3rd and 4th round running backs, if not later, just like how Mike Shanahan did. I'm sorry, it's just how it should be. He should be able to scheme that yardage. And it shouldn't be that he just has to freaking buy the most talented back with draft capital that he should be spending on the lines and on defense and on the lines. That's what kills me. So, for example, if I were Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch comes up and says, we think that we're going to get Christian McCaffrey. Why would we do that? I got TDP right here. Mason, Elijah Mitchell, I'll turn them into it. I'll turn them into 1,000-yard backs. Why are you doing that? Why are you insulting my intelligence when I can scheme any back into a 1,000-yard back? That's what's wrong. That's the issue. That's like one of the issues, right? Literally, Mike Shanahan was able to get 1,000-yard runners in Denver just to scheme 1,000-yard runners. Sure, he had John Elway. Those are minor details. A lot of those Denver Broncos Super Bowls were predicated from the running game. Terrell Davis and Mike Anderson, I believe, right? Wasn't Mike Anderson like a 6th rounder or undrafted out of Utah? Wasn't Terrell Davis a late round draft pick? That's what I want in a dynamic offensive mind. Mike Shanahan, Kyle's dad, was able to convert Mike Anderson and Terrell Davis into stars, into 1,000+ yard backs and stars. I want a coach who's innovative enough, who can scheme that, who doesn't, it's like, wait a second, but any coach can, like Christian McCaffrey can make any coach look good. So why do we need to have him as well? Look, again, I love Christian McCaffrey. He's one of my favorite Niners, like ever, okay? But he's got a good name, by the way. He's got one heck of a name. Christian McCaffrey has the best name on the squad in the NFL. Let's just say that. Anyways, so yeah, the fact that Kyle Shanahan has spent so much capital on offensive players, it just kills me. And this is where I'm going to this year. They drafted Ricky Pearsall, 31st out of a wide receiver out of Florida in this recent draft. That was their first round draft pick. Okay. If John Lynch comes up to me with Ricky Pearsall's name, and we know that Kyle Shanahan, by the way, we know that Kyle Shanahan is like the general manager as well. It just came out in media like not too long ago, like last week. Okay. But hypothetically, if John Lynch, the general manager of the Niners, if he came up to me, and I was Kyle Shanahan, he's like, okay, we want to get Ricky Pearsall. I'd say, excuse me. I'd say, excuse me twice. I'd say, excuse me. Why are we getting Ricky Pearsall? Why? We spent good capital on Danny Gray. And we spent a third rounder on Danny Gray. Danny Gray runs like a 4.3 40. Maybe like a high 4. I mean, like a 4.39 or something like that. He runs. Okay, like, look. We got him in the third round. He's super young. You are insulting me by saying that I need Ricky Pearsall. I'll get somebody off the street and make them into an all-pro receiver. Why would I waste a first-round draft pick that we have to put towards the offensive line, even if it's a second round, even if I get Pooney in the first round? Then with the second round, just get another offensive lineman. Okay. I regress. But anyways, I digress. I regress too, probably, right? Niners faithful. Okay, at this point. The thing is, the capital is just way, way too much. Way too much. The Niners should have been spending on the lines and on defense. And on the lines. Because a genius coach and a genius offensive coordinator like Walsh, like Andy Reid, he's pretty good. Like even like a Holmgren is I believe was like an offensive genius. Like a Mike Shanahan can manufacture those good plays using players who might not be as talented because their scheme is so dynamic. Please remember that. It means something. Okay, it means something. It's what separates these coaches. It's sort of what I'm getting at. Is that a coach who is as true can be, who is actualized on that offensive end, shouldn't need to spend a first on a Pearsall, shouldn't need to spend a bunch of draft capital on Christian McCaffrey, okay? What's done is done. So, and we're going to see an amazing offense this year. It's going to be awesome. It's just like on the lines, who knows? And on defense, who knows? Going to the defense, I believe, unfortunately, that, and here, because this is like literally a warning, the whole thing is like Niners fans need to be careful with Kyle Shanahan. I'm not going to let the rant get past like 20 minutes, okay? So you can turn this off if you need to, but while we're at it, I believe that Kyle Shanahan is like disrespectful to his defenses. And it's almost in a way that Chip Kelly is. Hey, let's use the Super Bowl as an example. Defenses are prone to get tired from long offensive drives. Okay. In the second half, I believe the Niners tried to pass like 9 straight times. All of them like failed or like took very, very little success. And that bought the defense 0 time. It bought players like Nick Bosa and Fred Warner like no time to recharge in any way, shape, or form. And they kind of just got ground down. And like, as you saw, right? Like, I believe the Niners were up in the second half. I remember thinking, I was like, they're not going to win this because their defense is just going to get gassed. There are no more sustained drives by the Niners because they abandoned the run game. No more sustained drives, no more clock. It's very difficult. It's very difficult. And I believe that Niners defensive coordinators absolutely do not hold Kyle Shanahan accountable. That's where I'm getting at with that. I don't think that they hold it because I think that he sort of picks his own defensive coordinators because their ability to hire within successfully, okay? DeMeco Ryans is amazing. That it has its pluses and its minuses, including that Ryans isn't going to say anything if his players are getting gas, whereas like a Bill Belichick would check Kyle Shanahan if he were the Niners defensive coordinator. Okay. Also, while we're at it, hey, why don't we, because Staley and Sorensen have both sort of been brought in now, why don't the Niners tie Sorensen and Kyle Shanahan's contracts or their success? So, hey, look at this. If they win the Super Bowl, then shoot. Indefinite lifetime contract for Shanahan and Sorensen. However, if the Niners go out and don't win the Super Bowl in the next couple years or at all, and Sorensen leaves, why, when Sorensen is absolutely Shanahan's guy, Sorensen is Shanahan's guy, why does he leave and Shanahan always stays? Because it seems to me, with what I'm getting there, that seems to me like it could be a conflicting accountability issue. It would seem that Sorensen would be accountable to Shanahan for the defense, like how Wilkes was, right? And then Wilkes got fired when heads need to roll, and then Shanahan stays. So that's just going to be the same thing, like with Sorensen. Like, when does it end? When does the accountability take hold? And there's one thing. Okay, well, we're going to end it at this. We're going to end it at this because I have so long to rant about Kyle Shanahan, and I love the guy. I actually like Shanahan as a coach. These are just things that I actually see that have their indications of a 56% winning percentage. So I'm just saying that I would like that, like, none of this would happen. I would not be saying this if that 56 number was in the 60s or 70s. All of it goes away if the 50s goes into the 60s, okay? But until it does, that's a red flag for me, and I analyze the red flag. These are just the things that I'm coming up with. These are just the things that I actually see. And there's one more thing. I think that Kyle Shanahan could have, would have, should have, blah, blah, blah. They have a Super Bowl in tow if he had done one thing. I believe that in big games, when Kyle Shanahan shrinks because he's known for choking away big games, I'm not even kidding, this is just an idea, hire your dad as a personal consultant on the sidelines with you. And this is also, I mean, like, look, so it will at least almost take some of that blame away. You just deflect it on Pops again or something like that, okay? But what I'm getting at is that, like, actually, STP would stress, tension pressure comes, he wilts. Kyle Shanahan does. Spotlight gets bigger, he gets smaller. His dad doesn't. Hey, if you're Kyle Shanahan, you want to make a move that's better than Pearsall, you want to make a move to hopefully get the Niners over the top to where you're still the head coach, hire your dad.